Good morning, everyone. Jose here from Rivian Tracker, and welcome to a road trip. Today we're taking a road trip from Orlando all the way up to Asheville, North Carolina. It's about 600-ish plus miles, and yeah, it's really early. It's still not deathly, hot outside here in Orlando, Florida, but I am joined with my buddy Justin.
Hello.
Say hi. So today we're taking my Rivian R1T, and Justin, who has a long-range Model Y. Is that correct? Yep. So we're gonna kind of, this worked out really nicely that we both have EVs and we're gonna road trip. We did this trip many years ago. We both had Model Ys and it was a good experience. But now that my Rivian can charge on the Tesla supercharging network, we are going to do a trip pretty much just, seeing how that experience works out. So this road trip is really gonna consist of seeing how the charging experience is going all the way up to Asheville, North Carolina. I will be using both the Tesla supercharging network and the Rivian Adventure network because there is one right next to a Tesla supercharger in Pooler, Georgia, where we're going to stop. And then Justin obviously will be using the Tesla supercharging network. The whole way up. So we really want to see what this is going to look like. How are the efficiencies of the vehicles? Obviously the Model Y is definitely much more efficient than the big heavy Rivian R1T, but I will be driving in conserve mode to get the best mileage possible, which is estimating 313 miles at 100%. And you're at 100% too. What did it say for you?
324.
Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, Rivian is pretty good about their what the efficiency is, but I have all-terrain tires on mine. Justin, you're running some roof racks. I don't think that should make a huge difference for you. No, but Tesla is known for their numbers not being very, 100% accurate.
It'd be interesting.
So we'll take that with a grain of salt. But we're gonna load up the maps in the truck and in the car in the Tesla, and then we'll kind of get going from there. And then I did buy a GoPro so we can shoot some B-roll that I'll put in between all these things. But yeah, we'll kind of see you out on the road there. And then our first stop was Yulee, Florida. So that's 2.5, 3 hours away from here or so.
If not familiar, it's right there by the Georgia border.
Yeah, right by the Georgia, Florida, and Georgia. So just north of Jacksonville, Florida. So that will be our first stop today. And yeah, so let's get on the road and have a good adventure.
Sounds good.
Taking a pit stop here at Buc-ee's in St. Augustine, Florida, because one does not drive through a location with a Buc-ee's and not stop for some snacks and coffee. Okay, well, we arrived at the very first charging location of our trip here in Yulee, Florida. And let's take a peek here. We traveled 194 miles, 3 hours. We did an efficiency of 2.2 and a total of 88.4 kilowatt hours. So, according to this, we have to charge for about 15 to 17 minutes. I like this space right here because I don't take up any additional spots. So I can just plug in here at the very end and we're good. There's my buddy Justin. He's charging over there. What state of charge did you arrive at?
Where are we at? We had how much?
24%.
24%. What did it say you would arrive at originally?
24, 25.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, right
pretty
around.
accurate.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there's only one other Model Y that's leaving now, so it's just us here. So say hi. All right. So yeah, we're gonna charge here for like 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll head out. All right, just pulled in here to the Rivian Adventure Network site in Pooler, Georgia. And there's a couple of other Rivians here. We have an R1T towing some Sea-Doos. You'll never guess who this is. That is my buddy Kevin, who's also driving up to North Carolina. He's all the way there. Hi, Kevin. Say hi.
Howdy, partner.
And so he just pulled up next to us. That was completely unplanned. Me and then another R1S, and then we have a pull through over there, not being used right now. So we are going to be here for a little bit, and then we'll head out to our next stop in South Carolina. And yeah, let's jump in the truck, check what the stats look like for this last leg that we just did. And then I'm going to grab some lunch and eat because I'm hungry and it's hot. So. Hello everybody and welcome to KC, Georgia, where I have arrived at this Tesla supercharger to charge my Rivian. We have been road tripping from Orlando. We stopped in Yulee, Florida for our first stop. We then stopped in Poly, Georgia. This is our third stop here, and I am traveling with my buddies over there who have a Model Y long range, and we've been pretty much matching about the same, not only efficiency but also charging stops. So we've been charging for about the same time throughout all of the stops. So anyways, we're here now. Let me get in the truck and I'll show you what the stats look like. But yeah, we have this stop and then we have one more stop closer to Asheville where we're going to be going. That stop is not necessary, but we're stopping there anyways to get some juice in the batteries since our hotels do not have EV chargers. So it's just kind of for having, for around town. So anyways, let's jump in the truck and check out the stats. Here we are. Please use the other side. For me, I am using this side. Here are all the other chargers there. Anyways, so here is the trip data, 147 miles. There was definitely a lot more traffic this time, which is why the efficiency is better. For 2.23 miles per kilowatt, 66.4 kilowatt hours of battery. And yep, we are charging now. So that should, we'll charge here now and then we'll get going a little bit later. But here we go, charging 210 kilowatts at this Tesla supercharger. So anyways, we're gonna charge here and then we'll head on over to Asheville. Hello and welcome to Asheville, North Carolina Tesla Supercharger. We just arrived here. We are now actively charging. We arrived about 22% state of charge, plugged in, we're charging. We got a little bit of rain on the way here from KC, South Carolina, which I think that's where we were last. But yeah, we are plugged in now, charging. There's our buddy Justin and their family plugged in as well. Easy peasy. There's also an EV Go fast charger here, not being utilized right now, but for the sake of this trip, we're doing Tesla Superchargers and Rivian Adventure Network. So let's take a look here at the stubs. Trip A. So 148.8 miles, almost 2 hours. The efficiency was much less this time because we were definitely climbing up the mountain. So 2.01, 73.9 kilowatt hours is what we're at. So we're going to charge here for a bit. And then from here, we're going to head to the hotel where, yeah, we're just going to chill and grab dinner and stuff. But yeah, we're going to continue the trip. We're going to be here for a couple of days in Asheville, North Carolina, and we're going to go around to different places, and we're going to hit up some of the other Rivian Adventure Network sites. So yeah, I plan on putting this whole video together and posting it by the time I'm home. So yeah, this trip would have already happened. But anyways, thank you so much for following me today. And yeah, stay tuned to more content after this, this clip here, because there'll definitely be more stuff. Good morning. It is Thursday, June 20th. It is about 7:50 a.m. We left Asheville this morning around 7 a.m. Our first stop here in Spartanburg, South Carolina for a charge up. We're going to be here about 20 minutes before continuing our trip. But we pulled up to this empty Tesla supercharger here with a Burger King behind us. So not too bad. We arrived with about 40-ish miles on the truck. So we'll charge here for a little bit before continuing our ride home. So I will see you at the next charging location. Guys, here we are in our second stop back to Orlando. We stopped in Casey, South Carolina. Here again, we're the only Tesla or the only vehicle here at this Tesla supercharger. So we're plugged in right now. We're charging. Here are the details: 94.8 miles, average speed of 70, 1.93 miles per kilowatt hour for efficiency with 49.1 kilowatt hours. Unlike when we were traveling to Asheville where we did conserve mode, this time we're doing all-purpose mode, as you can see there. So we're just kind of evaluating and seeing what the difference looks like when doing conserve versus all-purpose. So anyways, we're going to charge up here. We're going to grab some food because we haven't had anything to eat yet, and then we'll kind of go from there. Hey everyone, and welcome to Pooler, Georgia. We're back here again, charging at the Rivian Adventure Network site. There's another R1S. We pulled in at about 10%, and right now we are at 12% civ charge. We're going to be here for about 30-ish minutes before we head down to our next stop, which is a Tesla supercharger in St. Augustine, Florida. best type of supercharger is one that has a wah-wah. So we just got here to our final stop before getting home. We did 166.7 miles, 71 miles per hour average speed, 2 hours and 21 minutes. Again, our efficiency 1.9. We're going pretty fast. 87.7 kilowatt hours. We've been charging here for a few minutes. We just got some foods, and but we pulled in at about 3%. So we're gonna charge here for probably another 20-25 minutes, and then we can, with that, will get us to our house, which is just a couple hours away from here. And as you can see already, it's hot out, so the charger handle is probably warm and already saying, oh, limited by charging station, meaning the charger won't accept or won't give any more power, even though the truck will happily take it. So yeah, that's hopefully something that Tesla needs to work on. But anyways, yep, so this will be our last stop, and then when I get home, I'll give a kind of final recap, and we'll go from there. Hey everyone, and welcome to my office. We are done with the road trip. I really do hope you enjoyed that whole video and all the B-roll footage, fun, the Blue Ridge Parkway, driving to Asheville, North Carolina, driving back. There's a lot of fun content. I had a lot of content that I shot with my GoPro that I bought. So this is really awesome. So I'll be able to use this in future content, which is great. Now, wanted to kind of summarize everything, talk a little bit about stats, numbers. So this is kind of the nerdy part of the video. So if you don't care about this, thanks for watching. If not, let's go ahead and go through some data that I have here in front of me. So we left from Orlando to Asheville, North Carolina. I left at 100% state of charge, and we drove up in conserve mode. So I wanted to test out conserve versus all purpose. So driving to North Carolina, I drove in conserve mode, standard height. For all of these tests, I had the auto height turned off and just ran it at standard height. The total was 610.64 miles from my home to the hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. The average speed was 63 miles per hour with a max speed of 85 miles per hour. So that is an average speed, you know, combining all the legs of the journey up there. So 63 miles per hour. I would say that for the most part, I kept between 70 and 75. But when I look at the numbers and the stats, 63 miles per hour. I used a total of 289.71 kilowatt hours of battery. My efficiency was 2.11 miles per kilowatt hour. So not terrible for a 7,000 pound truck going up in elevation, because you are going up. I'm going from about 130 feet here in my home in Orlando to well over 2,600 feet in North Carolina. The average exterior temperature was about 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It was warm. We did a total of 4 charging stops. Let's talk about those stops. First stop. So before we do anything, I did sign up for the Tesla Supercharger plan because I knew I was going to be charging there. So that was a $12.99 fee that I signed up for the month. So I did that before anything. The first charger we went to was in Yulee, Florida. It was a Tesla Supercharger. Here's where I goofed up, guys. I did it through the app because I know that you can't utilize a supercharging plan if you plug and play. So I pulled up the Tesla app on my phone, did everything, thought it was working, but I was wrong. So instead of paying the discounted price, I ended up paying the full 49 cents per kilowatt hour. So that was a goof on me. I would have saved a couple of extra bucks if I had been able to successfully do the plan, but don't worry, this was the only goof up. After this, I was able to successfully use the charging plan the whole time. So we charged there for 51 kilowatt hours of battery for 49 cents. So our next stop, we stopped at the Rivian Adventure Network site in Pooler, Georgia, which was our one and only Rivian Adventure Network site on the road trip. We stopped there. This was by far the cheapest of all the charging locations at 36 cents per kilowatt hour. So we charged there for 81 kilowatt hours in order to get us to our next stop, which was Columbia, South Carolina, where we stopped at the Tesla Supercharger there. There we charged for 76 kilowatt hours at 37 kilowatt hours, 37 cents per kilowatt hour, okay? And then finally, we went over to the Tesla Asheville, North Carolina charger. Now, we didn't have to go to this charger, but there were 2 things at play here. Number one, we wanted to have enough charge to get around town the next couple of days. So we didn't want to just show up at the hotel with, 5% state of charge, especially because the hotel we were at had a single dual output level 2 charger that, if you follow me on social media, you saw was primarily utilized by a Silverado EV work truck and a Hummer EV, so poor charger. But we wanted to make sure we had enough juice. So we stopped in Asheville, North Carolina to charge up. This was by far one of the most expensive charging stops at 39 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, we were with friends, so we decided to have dinner while we were there. So we let the truck charge, he let his Model Y charge, and we just kind of had dinner. So we let it charge, and we got 100 kilowatt hours of charge there. But that gave us enough charge to get around town. So when you're looking at the numbers of like, oh, it took you longer to charge and you paid more, it's because we stayed here longer in order to have range to get around the next couple of days. So take that into consideration. The total charge time was 3 hours and 8 minutes and a total cost of $121.09 US dollars. So that was Orlando to Asheville. Now let's flip it. Going from Asheville to Orlando, we left at a state of charge of 38%. I left the drive mode in all purpose. Once again, auto height was turned off. We keep it in standard. We drove a total of 603 miles with an average speed of 68 miles per hour versus the 63 before, and a max speed of 91 miles per hour versus 85. We definitely used more energy because we were being less efficient because we were going faster, as well as using all the quad motors versus just conserve, which use at the front. So we used a total of 310 kilowatt hours of battery versus 289. Our efficiency was 1.94 miles per kilowatt versus 2.11. The average temperature was cooler at 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And once again, we did 4 charging stops. The 4 charging stops were Tesla of Spartanburg, South Carolina, 38 cents a kilowatt. We charged for 72 kilowatt hours. Tesla Columbia, South Carolina at 37 kilowatt hours, 37 cents per kilowatt hour. We charged there for 56 kilowatt hours. We then visited the Rivian Adventure Network site in Pooler, Georgia again, the cheapest charger at 36 cents per kilowatt hour. We charged there for 95 kilowatt hours. And then we did our final stop in St. Augustine, Florida at the Tesla Supercharger, 39 cents kilowatt hours for 84 kilowatt hours total. 2 hours and 4 minutes of charge time, 1 hour less than when we were going up. Remember, going up, we stopped for dinner, so we were at that Tesla supercharger in Asheville for a longer period of time because we wanted a higher state of charge to get around town. Total cost, $115.07 versus $121 of, going up to North Carolina. So that brings the grand total $236.16 for a round trip charging in my Rivian R1T, okay? Let's talk a little bit about efficiency and driving an EV versus a gas vehicle in a road trip situation like this. This was easily a 1,200 mile round trip. In a gas powered vehicle, depending on what type of vehicle you drive, you could probably get a vehicle way more efficient, and the cost of putting gas would be substantially less. Now, that's fair. You can absolutely do that, and everybody has a right to whatever they want to do there. With me, I really enjoy driving an EV. My wife and I like to road trip an EV. We did it with our Tesla Model Y, and now that the Rivian has access to the Tesla supercharging network, this has opened up a whole new experience for us because now we're not limited to the chargers that may or may not work, okay? We probably could have done this trip cheaper if we had stopped at an Electrify America station or wherever else, right? But I chose specifically to do Tesla superchargers and Rivian Adventure networks because it was the most convenient, okay? So take that into consideration that you can probably do this cheaper. I let the Rivian navigation do everything. I use that in conjunction with the A Better Route Planner app, which now has native Rivian integration, to be able to plan out the stops and all that. And both of them were pretty much aligned the whole time with where we needed to stop. It was also a point of getting to a charger at the lowest possible state of charge allowed so that we could take advantage of the low state of charge charging curve. Some points here. Number one, Rivian Adventure Network charging performance, phenomenal, right? Held at almost 215, 218 kilowatt hours for a long period of time. No issues whatsoever. One of the biggest issues I encountered using the Tesla superchargers, and a lot of people have reported this, is the handle gets really hot. So within a few minutes or a few kilowatt hours of getting power, you suddenly get a message on the vehicle that says limited by charging station. And that just pretty much means that something on the charging side is limiting the power being sent into the vehicle. The vehicle will accept more power, but the charger does not want to send more power. And a lot of people have determined that this has a lot to do with the fact that the handle gets really hot on these superchargers, and it actually starts derating the charging experience. If you are in a rush to charge, you may want to avoid using a Tesla supercharger and hitting up a functioning Electrify America or EV Go charger in your area, or one of the many other EV networks out there, right? Take that into consideration. Again, Rivian Adventure Network performance, phenomenal and flawless, and in fact, the cheapest of all of them. So if you can road trip and you have a lot of Rivian Adventure Network sites near you, absolutely take advantage of those because those are optimal. But I'm very grateful to have access to a Tesla supercharging network, even if it is not perfect, because it allows a level of flexibility. At no time did I run into a Tesla supercharger that was full, or did I have an issue parking in one, right? I was able to utilize, for the most part, a way to not take up two spots at a lot of these chargers, whether it was pulling in to a far corner or pulling in from the back, or teaming up with my buddy who was driving his Model Y so that he could park closer to me so that we weren't taking up spots, but he was able to charge and I was able to charge. So there were ways around it, but for the most part, zero issues. Had a lot of people come up to me at the Tesla superchargers, excited to see Rivian and kind of see the truck, and not only that, but be able to charge at a supercharging network. So that was something that they were very excited to see. So once again, just very excited to be able to have the opportunity to show off an amazing Rivian product at a Tesla supercharger. The vehicle performed optimal, no issues whatsoever, knock on wood. Everything was great. It handled amazingly in the mountains as expected. Being from Florida, you know, we don't have a lot of hills or mountains here at all. So it's very rare that I get to see the efficiency chart get maxed out when I'm going downhill the mountains. It's great to see that, and it's great to see some of that miles regen back into the battery. So that was really cool. So anyways, all that is to say is that the R1T is a great road tripper. The Rivian R1T is definitely not the most efficient EV on the road by any means. So that's something you need to take into consideration. I do have all-terrain tires. That plays a key into it. You know, if you have all season tires, it will be different. I wasn't driving to be efficient, you know, so if I had slowed down or, you know, whatnot, I would have been able to probably get a better efficiency. But the reality is, even at the speeds I was driving, it was really hard to keep up with the traffic around me because everybody's moving really fast on like I-95 or I-26. So these are just some of the things taken into consideration. What's really interesting is, and if you watched this video just a couple of minutes ago, I talked about this with my friend Justin, who had the Model Y. You know, we were kind of keeping pace, right? We were both arriving at the chargers at the same time, with around the same state of charge and all that. And I don't know if that bodes well for the long range Model Y or my Rivian. I don't, but it was really nice to be able to keep up, and his Tesla supercharger, you know, the Tesla navigation told him to stop at the exact same places I did, really with the exception of Pooler, Georgia, where he pulled into the Tesla supercharger, and I went to the Rivian Adventure Network because it was literally next door to it. So there was no reason not to do that. Yeah, so it was a great trip. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope this information was informative. I'd love to talk more about this. We have a lot more road trips planned this year, my wife and I, so we're going to be taking more of this. If you like this type of content, me talking, showing some B-roll, talking about the charging experience and all that, let me know in the comments below so we can keep making it. If you don't like it, let me know so that, you know, I don't do them and we come up with some other content to do. But I love numbers and data. I'm a data nerd, so I love to be able to see all this stats played out. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed this video, enjoyed all the B-roll footage from the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. And thanks again for watching a Rivian Tracker video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below to keep interacting with us and keep making Rivian Tracker even better. And yeah, I have a lot of future content to make for you guys I'm really excited for. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.